Hello everyone. Our next chapter for this subject is about basic laws. According to Thomas Henry Huxley, the chessboard is the world, the pieces are the phenomena of the universe, the rules of the game are what we call the laws of nature. The player on the other side is hidden from us. We know that his play is always fair, just, and patient. But we also we know to our cost that he never overlooks a mistake or makes the smallest allowance for ignorance. So that's just a quote from Thomas Henry Huxley. Okay, what is Ohm's law? Materials in general have a characteristic behavior of resisting the flow of electric charge. This physical property or ability to resist current is known as resistance and is represented by the symbol R. The resistance of any material with a uniform cross-sectional area A depends on A and its length as shown in figure 2.1a. In the mathematical form, resistance is equals to resistivity of the material in ohms meter times the length over the area. Okay, so discussing this, Ohm's law is all about the resistance, theory about the resistance. When we say resistance, so giingon pa diri a ability to resist current. So siya ang mupugong sa current. So it depends upon the value of the resistance kung pila pa ang value sa current nga iyahang makaya og resist. So every material has a different value of resistance depending upon its characteristic. For this mathematical form or according to the equation, resistance is equal to resistivity, resistivity of a material. So every material has its own value of resistivity times the length over the area. That area is the cross-sectional area. Okay, resistivities of common materials. Okay, so for silver, ang resistivity niya is 1.64 times 10 to the power of negative 8. So, mo na siya ang material nga pinaka-lowest in resistivity. Meaning, it's a conductor. Sabot ana, ang pinaka-the best nga wire, kung may taog wire kay conductor, may conductor mo, maging ng mga wire. When we say the best conductor nga pwede ibutang sa wire, is, mo na siya ang silver. But, ang silver is mahal. That's why ang available sa market or kung palita sa mga hardware karon, there is copper and there is aluminum. Kay mo na siya ang nagsunod nga material nga best conductor. So number 1 is silver, ang ikaduha na is copper, ikatulo aluminum. So mas lesser ang price sa copper o sa aluminum. Ang ikaupat is gold. So mahal pud kay ang gold, labaw ka mahal sa silver. But when we say number 1 or the best conductor, so mo gid siya ang silver. And so on for these other materials: carbon, germanium, silicon, paper, mica, glass, teflon. So kaning paper, mica, glass, teflon, so they are called an insulator. Tag-as ang value sa ilang resistivity. Mo nang consider sila as insulator. So ang mica, makita nato na siya sa sulod sa mga kapasitor na mga mica ana sa sulod. Mo na siya nag-insulate sa sulod. So conductor, semiconductor, insulator. When we say semiconductor, they are either conductor or insulator. Okay. The circuit symbol for the resistor is shown in figure 2.1b, where R stands for the resistance of the resistor, and the resistor is the simplest passive element. So back to the previous chapter, when we say passive element, muna siya ang mga element nga consumer or kumbaga mo-consume og energy, no, or power. When we say active element, they are able to generate energy. Okay, so ang resistor is the simplest passive element. So when we look at figure 2.1 A, so resistor. So that is an example of a resistor. So kung i-cut na siya, so na cross-sectional area, katong gi-discuss ani nga kani nga mathematical form or equation, resistance is equal to resistivity times length over area. So ang pasabot ani nga area is a uniform cross-sectional area. So looking back to this figure 2.1 sa resistor, so ang cross-sectional area mo nang gina-point sa arrow. Dili ng area sa iyang body, but ang cross-sectional area. And then na material with resistivity. So ito yung body. And letter B, circuit symbol for resistance. So figure 2.1b is the symbol of resistance. So makita man ninyo diha sa figure. And I know also that you are familiar with the symbol of resistance. Ohm's law states that the voltage V across a resistor is directly proportional to the current I flowing to the resistor. So when we say directly proportional, so directly affected ang voltage when it comes to current. So kung the greater the current, the greater po the voltage. The greater the resistance ng material, the greater po ang voltage. Okay, so V or voltage is equal to current times resistance. So muna siya ang equation ng voltage. The resistance R of an element denotes its ability to resist the flow of electric current. It is measured in ohms. Okay, so ang equation ng resistance is just equal to voltage divided by current or I. So R equals to V over I. So in this case, affected gihapon ang resistance by the current. So the lower the current, the greater the resistance. Pero the lower the current, the greater the resistance. The greater the voltage, the greater the resistance. So muna siya. So 1 ohm is just equal to 1 volt per ampere. Current flows from a higher potential to a lower potential in order for V equal to current times R. If current flows from a lower potential to a higher potential, so voltage is equal to negative I or current times R. An element with R equal to 0 is called a short circuit. Okay. Sa previous chapter, nag-iwan ko nga ang flow ng current is from lower potential to higher potential. That is the case for the supply. But when it comes to the passive elements, it should be from higher potential to lower potential. Kaya absorb man sila, absorb ang energy. So, from higher potential to lower potential, positive ang voltage. So, V equal to IR. If current flows from lower potential to higher potential, voltage is equal to negative IR. So, kung ang resistance niya is 0, so pasabot ana, nag-short circuit. Short circuit. Meaning, nagsumpay ra ang wire, walay load. So, managitawag nga short circuit. According to figure 2.2, as you can see in letter A, muna siya ang case for the short circuit. Voltage is equal to 0, resistance is equal to 0, but current is not equal to 0. Letter B, open circuit, or R equal to infinity, meaning dako kaayo ang resistance. So, in letter B, current is equal to 0, resistance is equal to infinity, but ang voltage is not equal to 0. So, muna ang kalahian sa short circuit ug open circuit. Pag short circuit gani, current is not equal to 0. Pag open circuit, voltage is not equal to 0. So, muna siya ang difference ng short circuit and open circuit. An element with R equal to infinity is known as an open circuit. An open circuit is a circuit element with resistance approaching infinity. So, dako kayo so approaching infinity. In figure 2.4, circuit symbol for a variable resistor in general. So, pag variable resistor, so mauna siya sa figure A. Figure 2.4A. Ang potentiometer, that is in figure 2.4B. So, mauna siya ang mga symbol. Figure 2.5, variable resistor. So, example of a variable resistors. A, composition type. Letter B, slider path. So, ma-encounter ninyo na, even sa electronics ninyo mga subject. Okay, maka-encounter mo na ng mga pisa. Okay, figure 2.3, fixed resistor. Fixed resistor meaning na adjud siya exact nga value sa iyang resistance. Okay, sa letter A, that is a wire wound type. And then letter B, carbon film type. So, pinaka-common ng mga resistors that we usually encounter is that carbon film type sa letter B. A useful quantity in circuit analysis is the reciprocal of resistance R, known as conductance, and denoted by G. So, conductance is just the reciprocal of resistance. So, ang iyang symbol is G, big letter G. Lahi pod nang musulat mo og small letter G. Pag small letter G inyong gamiton as a note for conductance, dili na siya conductance. Lahi na po na siya nga symbol. Okay, so dapat big letter G. So pag resistance, big letter R. Pag conductance, big letter G. So since it is just the reciprocal of resistance, so conductance is equal to 1 over R. So or is just equal to current over voltage. The conductance is a measure of how well an element will conduct electric current. The unit of conductance is the mho. Mho. So, kabaliktaran na po sa ohm, spelled backward. And then, ang symbol po niya, kabaliktaran na po sa ohm. So, makita ninyo diha. Okay. Conductance is equal to, so 1 mho or equal to 1 amp over voltage. So, ang conductance, once again, is a measure kung unsa ka maayo ang isa ka element to conduct electric current. Conductance, the ability of an element to conduct electric current. It is measured in mhos or Siemens. Okay, kanang so, mhos or Siemens, same ra na siya nga unit. So, pag yung conductance, Siemens or mho. So, duhang iyahang symbol. So, conductance, once again, is the ability of an element to conduct electric current. Okay. So, to ang kalahian sa resistance. Resistance is the ability to resist current. While conductance is the ability of an element to conduct electric current. So, mo nang reciprocal ang ilahang value, ang ilahang formulas. Reciprocal po, same po sa ilang. Reciprocal po ang ilahang value. The same resistance can be expressed in ohms or Siemens. For example, 10 is the same as 0.1 Siemens. We may write current is equal to conductance times voltage. Okay, the power dissipated by a resistor can be expressed in terms of R. Okay, so power. So, previously we discussed power is equal to voltage times current. So, voltage is also equal to I times resistance. So, current times resistance times current. So, current squared R. So, I squared R. Or just equal to V squared over R. So, pwede ninyo ni praktisan og convert ang iyang mga formulas, no? Basta ma-memorize lang ninyo ang mga basic formulas like power equals to VI, voltage equals to current times resistance. Ano pa? Resistance is equal to voltage divided by current. So, muna siya. And then, power is equal to voltage times current is also equal to voltage squared times conductance and also equal to current squared over conductance. Okay, in figure 2.7, the current voltage characteristic. So, nakagraph ang current voltage characteristic of letter A linear resistor. Linear resistor. So, muna siya, straight line lang with the slope R. Letter B, a non-linear resistor. We should note two things. Number one, note meaning, hinumduman yun ninyo. The power dissipated in a resistor is a non-linear function of either current or voltage. Since resistance and conductance are positive quantities, the power dissipated in a resistor is always positive. So, ga-absorb man sila. So, ang power nila is always positive. Previously, sa previous chapter, I discussed that power in a supply is always negative. Nga naman, pagawas man siya og power para ma-supply sa mga load. While ang mga passive elements, ga-absorb man sila og energy. So, ang ilahang power will always be positive. Thus, a resistor always absorbs power from the circuit. This confirms the idea that a resistor is a passive element, incapable of generating energy. So once again, ang kalahian sa passive element and active element, passive element will just absorb energy, while active element will generate energy. Example 2.1. Okay, first example. An electric iron draws 2 ampere at 120 volts. Find its resistance. So, resistance, formula ng resistance, R is equal to voltage divided by current. Okay, let's see the solution. Okay, so R is equal to voltage divided by current. So, that is from Ohm's law. So, ang given is 120 volts and 2 ampere. So, 120 divided by 2 is just equal to 60 ohms. Okay, kaning murag kahalo dire, mao na siya ang symbol for the unit of symbol for the unit ohm. So, ohm ang tawag ana niya nga symbol. Okay, that is from the Ohm's law. So, ang answer, ang resistance ng electric iron is 60 ohms. Okay, practice problem. You will answer this. So, mga practice problem, gibutang na ko ni dito as a site, and it is your assignment. So, mag-answer mo ani, sulat gihapon sa papel, picturean, and then i-upload para ma-check na ko. Example 2.2. In the circuit shown in figure 2.8, calculate the current I, the conductance G, and the power P. So, tulo ang ipangita, current, conductance, and power. So, ang given sa figure 2.8 is na siya supply, which is 30 volts, and then na load nga 5 kilo ohm nga resistor. Of course, ang resistor, na siya voltahe. Kaya consume siya energy. And then, ang current, is towards the resistor. Okay, current is equal to voltage times voltage divided by resistance. So, given bang resistance? So, 5 kilo ohm. Okay, so voltage is equals to 30 volt. So, 30 divided by 5 kilo ohm. So, that is 5 times 10 to the power of 3. Or that is just also 5,000 ohms. So, 30 divided 5 times 10 to the power of 3 is just equal to 6 milliampere. So, there it goes. Kuha ng current. Second, conductance. So, ang conductance is just the reciprocal of resistance. So, conductance is equal to 1 over R. So, equal to, to substitute na to ang value ng R. 1, so conductance equal to 1 over 5 kilo ohm or 5 times 10 to the power of 3. That is equal to 0.2 ms. So, ms, so millisiemens. Okay, so muna ikaduhang answer. Ikatulo, calculate the power. So, we can calculate the power in various ways. So, naitulo ka solution. Una, nagamit og power equals to voltage times current. Ikaduha, nagamit og current squared times resistance. Ikatulo, nagamit og voltage squared times conductance. So, pwede na siya gamiton. Either of the three ang gamiton. As long as makuha ninyo ang saktong answer. As long as tama ang inyong solution. As long as ang inyong formula sakto pagka-derive. So, the power is 180 milliwatts. Okay, practice problem. Another practice problem. So, you solve it. So, na answer. So, practice solving. Example 2.3. A voltage source of 20 sin pi t volts is connected across a 5 kilo ohm. So, ano ko nabutangan kilo ohm. Ano ko nabutangan ohm nga symbol. 5 kilo ohm resistor. Find the current through the resistor and the power dissipated. So, ang given, voltage source, and then na ay resistor or resistance ng 5 kilo ohm. Ang ipangita, current nga nag-agi sa resistor o ang power dissipated. When we say power dissipated ng voltage source. So, kung matag power dissipated, pila ang power nga gina-consume ng resistor. Okay, solution. So, current is just equal to voltage divide resistance equal to 20 sin pi t over 5,000 ohm or 5 times 10 to the power of 3 equal to 4 sin pi t milliamp. Hence, so, nakuha ng current. So, ang una, pangitaw ng current. Ikaduha, pangitaw ng power. So, power is equal to voltage times current. So, equal to 80 sin squared pi t milliwatts. Okay, so, nung na-sin squared ni siya, so, ang voltage, so, wala na ako ipakita ang solution. Dito na ako butang ang answer. Ang voltage is given, that is 20 sin pi t. Current, nakuha naman ang current, so, 4 sin pi t milliamp. So, multiply lang nimo ng 20 sin pi t to 4 sin pi t. So, ang answer will be 80 sin squared pi t milliwatts. So, another practice problem. 2.3. Also answer that at home. So, as for your assignment and then submit it on the site. Upload it. So, that's all for this for this topic, Ohm's law. To be continued.